All right. So hi people, and hope you all are doing great. Today we will be talking about a really controversial topic within the space of web design. And from what I have seen and heard, truth is there are a couple of people who actually hate it. Yeah, they don't like it, and there are people who love it as well. And there is a different strata of people who don't actually know how to use it. And that's exactly why I created this video, right? To explain to you guys what auto layout is, how to use it, and when to use it as well. So, what is auto layout? Auto layout is basically a tool within Figma that enables you create responsive and adaptive designs at different breakpoints. And now I will show you how it works. Alright guys, so we do have two cards, or I could say frames, within our canvas, and one actually has auto layout activated while the other doesn't. However, we will be stretching both cards to actually see how they react. And we will be starting with the card that doesn't have auto layout activated. Not cool. Not cool either. And to the card that has auto layout activated. Amazing. So we should also take things, a little bit further, and we would be adding a button into both cards to actually see how they tend to retain, I could say accommodate, an external body or element. So you'd see we would have to manually adjust the frame so it can actually accommodate the button. However, if we are to replicate the same steps to the frame that has auto layout, let's see what happens. Boom. Isn't that amazing? So you don't have to manually, start checking out the space in between, these elements. Auto layout basically just does that for you. I think I'll have to do something real quick. Fill container, and let's see what happens when you tend to stretch. Amazing. So the thing is, I'm fully aware, a whole lot of people don't know how to use auto layout, and there's been a whole lot of misconception pertaining to this tool. However, I would advise, you stick to this video till the very end, and you definitely learn it's true. Alright guys, so we are back, and right now we are going to be creating a really basic button to actually show you how auto layout actually works in the flesh. And first things first, you just want to hit the T button on your keyboard and type. And how I like to do it is I prefer to use the shortcut, which is Shift A. So automatically it initiates auto layout, as you can see here. So in order for you to actually get your preferred button style, this tool actually made it really easy. So over here you're going to see the horizontal patterns, and you're going to see the vertical patterns. So we could give our horizontal patterns 50 and the vertical patterns 15. And in order to make things way more beautiful than they look, we could actually give it a feel. Change the color to blue, and automatically look, button really getting really cool. actually give it a corner radius of like a 4. Now this is the button, and now let's see how the button actually reacts when it has been stretched. Amazing, right? Okay, so now we will be talking about the different options within the auto layout panel. And first, we will be starting with the direction panel. And all you just have to do is hit on frame and just come over here. You're going to see the vertical direction and the horizontal as well as the wrap. However, we're going to do something first. So we actually do have 2 frames, one with auto layout and the other without auto layout. So take for instance, we want a situation where we want to change the direction of this vertical frame into an horizontal frame, retaining the elements, that is the circles, within the frame. Due to the fact we don't have auto layout, we would have to do this. Change the direction to a 90. Then we'd have to manually input these circles. And in doing this, we would have to group this, Ctrl G, and try to put it in the middle or something. But in a situation where you have auto layout activated, you really do not have to go through, that whole stress. So now I'm going to show you how efficient auto layout can actually be. So all you have to do is hit on the frame with auto layout activated, and we can actually just go here, which is the horizontal layout. Boom. And automatically it changes. So take for instance, you want to actually expand this, right? You want to expand it, have a bigger space. So we actually have the alignment here. So what this alignment does is the content within the frame, whatever direction you want it to go to, this alignment actually does it easily for you. So we want it to go to top left. We want to go to top center, top right. Automatically it does that seamlessly for you. Moving on, we'll also talk about the horizontal gaps, that is the gap in between objects. So currently we have it to be 10. If we want to increase the gap in between these elements, all we have to do is just top it up. Can you see it? Easily. And this was something that if we didn't have auto layout activated, we would have been trying to manipulate, manually, of which that would have been really, really time consuming. Also, we can also go to the horizontal padding. So take for instance, currently on the horizontal padding we have 25. We can actually increase it and give it a 50. On the vertical, which is this, we have 17. We could reduce it and give it a 15, or let's give it a 10. And we can also have individual paddings as well. So take for instance, we want the bottom, right, to be a 10. Watch what happens. Can you see that? Individually. We can make this a 20 individually. We can make this a 30. We can make this a 15. And we can make this a 5. Almost forgot to talk about the wrap option, and this is how it simply works. So all you have to do is go to the frame with Auto Layout activated always, and you go to this option, which is wrap. So how it tends to work is the elements within the frame, once the space within the frame isn't enough for the element at the time of adjustment, the wrap option enables the elements to go to the nearest space available, and I will show you what I just said. Do you guys see how it works? Exactly. Then that then takes us to the advanced auto layout options, right? And all you need to do for you to activate this option is come here, and you're going to see strokes, canvas stacking, and alignment text baseline. So how does this work? We're going to basically just look at two. The strokes are totally irrelevant, I'm not even gonna lie. So what we're going to look at is the canvas stacking and the align text baseline. So how does it work? You can basically see if we have 1, 2, 3, it can go from 3 to 1. Can you see that? Can you see that? Look. Can you see? Exactly. Now I'm going to show you how the text baseline tends to work. So we have this right here, and we want to initiate the align text baseline to this particular frame. Look what happened. And I'm going to be using the ruler to actually show you what happened. It aligned both elements to the bottom. Initially, they were both in the middle, if you clearly remember. But what happened was, after initiating this, it took both of them to align to the bottom. Resizing is a really powerful tool in Auto Layout, and the reason I say this is because of its ability to enable responsive designs at different breakpoints. And just like I'm showing on screen, look over here. Exactly. So it's very important that you understand that there are certain options within Auto Layout, that is within Figma, that would enable you to have such results, to enable your designs to be responsive at different breakpoints. And one is definitely fixed width and height. Then we talk about hog content, and we talk about field container. So I will be showing you how it works. So over here, we actually do have a written text in a frame, and this doesn't have auto layout whatsoever, right? So let's give this auto layout and the frame auto layout as well. Over here, we can actually change this to fixed, and this as well. This is on fixed, and this is on fixed. So what we want to do is we want to duplicate the content. Look what happens. The content goes out of the frame, and the reason is because the frame is fixed. So when we extend it, what happens? You're able to see the content within the frame. However, I'll then show you how the hog content actually works. Now we are going to go to the parent frame, And what we're going to do is we're going to change the height from fixed to hard content. Look what happens. Then if we are to duplicate this over and over again, automatically what happens is the frame hugs the content. So to whatever length you want to go, the frame is definitely going to keep hugging the content and hugging the content. So that then takes us to the fill container option, right? Because we've spoken about the fixed, we've addressed the hug, and now it's remaining the fill. So how the fill works is this. Let's extend this a little bit, and let's make all this to be auto laid out, right? Now they are auto laid out. So now what we want to do is we want to change all of this. That is, we want it to fill the container. So we want the width to go to what? Fill container. All right, so sorry about that. There was a mistake somewhere. So what happens is you go into the primary frame and find your way to the text, and what you want to do is, after you must have initiated auto layout like I did earlier, and you come here to the width and you put it to fill container. So you want it to expand and fill the container. After doing that, you're going to get that responsive design that cuts across different breakpoints. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So this is exactly how powerful resizing can actually be, and in the next video I will show you how I was able to come up with this card, of which I strongly do believe you would want to see. Alright guys, so as promised, how I was able to attain a responsive card design. Truth is, it's not a biggie at all. It's really straightforward. First thing you want to do is get your text. After getting your text, you want to have your parent frame, and I could probably call this a picture holder, right? So you're having two nested frames in a primary frame. Exactly. So what you want to do is you want to go to the parent frame and just initiate auto layout, shift A, and you want to also go to the picture holder and initiate auto layout as well. However, make sure that you come to the width to make sure it's on fill container, because you want it to fill the primary frame. Next thing, you want to just drag your button into the primary frame. And also make sure that the button is on fill container as well. And after doing this, the next thing is, you want to see what your result is like. Amazing. So guys, this then brings us to the very end of this tutorial, and I really hope, because the essence of this video was to teach people 18 or 2, widen your horizon and give you value to what you already know. And like I say, if the video was actually helpful, you found value, please share, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, because it would actually do me a lot of good, because I just started this channel, and trust me, I will be bringing very, very good and quality contents to your doorsteps. All right, so y'all have a good time and stay safe.